Back in October of 2023, I released this video about fan-made ports. In fact, I was one of the first creators to cover unofficial PC ports of Ocarina of Time and Mario 64. Since then, there's been further developments, with Ship of Harkinian porting Majora's Mask as well. But how good are the recompilations of Nintendo's most iconic games? After all, we know the N64 hasn't aged particularly well, but can recomps revitalize their graphics? Let's find out. And we'll start with the Duke Nukem 0-hour recompilation, which is still in very early days of development. As you can see, there's no proper widescreen mode yet, and visual bugs haven't been entirely resolved. Mostly, it's just a straight port from the N64 with scant enhancements to visuals. The one major advantage is the improved frame rate, although it's not enough for me to prefer the recomp over straight emulation. Doom 64 EX Plus is actually a source port of the PC version, which in turn had been based on the original Nintendo 64 classic. The project is no longer in development, and unfortunately it appears to be because of public harassment of the developer. I'll give a link to the page and you can check it for yourself if you feel like it. Despite all the negativity though, this port is a solid piece of work. It doesn't make dramatic changes to the PC remaster on Steam or GOG, but I could definitely feel the difference. Starship is an impressive recomp of Starfox 64, and I found no problems with stability or visual fidelity. Officially, it's still in active development, but the last update was in May of this year. Nevertheless, the user interface is easy to navigate. Just press F1 to access the menu and then adjust settings on the fly. I did scour the internet for some mods, but the only one I found that's worth mentioning is the Heli mod. I'm not even sure what it does, and the description confuses me, so I don't know if it's worth installing. Nevertheless, Starfox 64 is still great with default graphics, and the improved controls make this unofficial port worth installing. Perfect Dark has been re-released on Xbox Live Arcade, and we can emulate that version reasonably well on PC. However, it's not without its issues, so this unofficial port is welcome news. I think the addition of mouse look is the best feature. Button mappings for the game on N64 was pretty horrendous back in the day, so to have proper mouse and keyboard support is the best outcome. What impressed me most about the recomp were its numerous graphical tweaks. You can change nearly everything, including texture details, which helps to enhance the visuals just a bit more. There are two major recompilations of Mario Kart 64, and the first one we'll be looking at is Spaghetti Kart. And just like the Starfox recomp, it was created by the Ship of Harkinian developers. There's not much to say, really. Everything seems to work as it should. There were no bugs, freezes, or crashes whatsoever. However, to access the download files, you need to sign up to their Discord server. There's so many ways to tweak the game, but I should add that modding isn't enabled by default, so remember to enable it in the menu. The second major recomp is simply called Mario Kart 64 Recompiled. It's very much like Spaghetti Kart in terms of stability and performance, so there's very little to complain about. Minimum, you need a GPU capable of DX12 or Vulkan 1.2, so don't expect this to work on Windows 7 or 8. Much like Spaghetti Kart, it has mod support, so let's see what the game looks like with high-definition textures. And I must say, it looks pretty good. I'm sure purists won't like this change, but what's the point of even doing this if not to enhance the experience? I should add that the texture mod is called Mario Kart Reloaded, and I'm pretty sure it can be used with Spaghetti Kart as well. I'll add it to the links in my description for your convenience. By now, most people know about Ship of Harkinian. There's been so much news about it lately that I can hardly add anything new. But I will briefly talk about its modding potential, because there are a number of options for people who want to enhance the game's visuals. I personally chose Dippy's 3DS experience because it's not too distinct from the default game. The new character models, while not astounding, are definitely better looking, so it really enhances the game just enough to impress, but not so much that it disconnects me from the experience. Admittedly, some of the textures could have been a bit higher res, and there are other mods that will give you better looking graphics, but there's a reason why most people prefer this one. Anyway, Majora's Mask is the one I really wanted to talk about since it's the newer release from the ship of Harkinian developers. All the enhancements from Ocarina of Time have been ported over and, I must say, it's really impressive. Latest updates even include a randomizer, which shuffles items and keys around, thereby giving Nintendo veterans something to get excited about. Currently, there's only one working texture mod for Majora's Mask, but it's a good one, and I think it matches DP's texture mod for Ocarina of Time really well. Naturally, it improves textures for the environment and character models, but also upscales the HUD elements and typefaces. And just like with Ocarina of Time, the mod doesn't make dramatic changes. It just makes the visuals a bit better. Since we're already here, we may as well learn how to install and enable mods for Majora's Mask and Ocarina of Time. Firstly, make sure that alternate assets are enabled. You need this for mods to be recognized by the software. After that, go into mods inside the game's main folder. It's very simple, so just follow my example if you don't know what to do. Then extract the archive's content into this folder and you're done. There's nothing more to it. 2 years ago, Mario 64 Plus was the recomp everyone was talking about. However, the unofficial port hasn't seen any development since 2022, so I can only assume it's completed. But that doesn't mean the story has to end for Mario 64. There are plenty of recompilations out there, and none are more popular right now than Render 96EX. It's a robust source port and is still in active development. The one critique I have is the installation process. I can't simply teach you how to get the recomp up and running in a few minutes because there are a lot of obstacles to jump over first. I had to install 2 third-party apps just to run the Render 96 setup, and I can see a lot of people bailing out before even starting. Having said that, Render 96 is highly customizable, and it comes with several built-in texture packs. On top of that, it can look way better than Mario 64 Plus, depending on your selection during setup. The best reason to even consider Render 96 is its impressive draw distance. I basically pushed it all the way to maximum, and I never saw pop-in again. You can actually see things now that the original game's fog would have hidden before. But there's more to Render 96 than even that, because it also boasts support for ray tracing. Yes, you need to select a special RTX renderer made specifically for the recomp, and again, it's not necessarily that easy to set up. But once you have it running, boy does it look nice. Of course, you need a decent discrete graphics card, and luckily, I do own a powerful one. I even managed to enable all of the ray tracing bells and whistles while maintaining 60 frames a second. I can't vouch for people with older GPUs than mine. But I should mention that the game's ray tracing looks bad unless you have it running with max settings. So now that we've covered the basics, what do you actually get with ray tracing? For starters, you get proper reflections on water surfaces and some floors, which is always a welcome feature. Secondly, you get dynamic shadows instead of the original game's baked shadows. Light sources also luminesce against walls and other surfaces, and quite frankly, the overall lighting looks a lot better, with improved contrast between bright and dark areas. Alright, that's it for Render 96, but there are more recompilations that I didn't cover for a variety of reasons. There's also a different team working on a Majora's Mask recomp, and they're promising an expansion for Ocarina of Time soon. I will get around to all of these eventually, so be assured that I am on top of things. Either way, if you found this useful, please remember to give a like. Thanks for watching and have a nice day.